Hello, and welcome to our Facebook Live on dietary supplements, body image, and Hollywood. My name's Nadia Craddock, and I'm a body image researcher and PhD candidate at the Centre for Appearance Research, which is based at the University of the West of England in Bristol. I've flown over from the UK here to Boston to be here at Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health for what I think is going to be an extraordinary half an hour with two trailblazing guests. With me in the studio is Professor Bryn Austin, Director of Harvard Striped, the Strategic Training Initiative for the Prevention of Eating Disorders. Bryn is truly leading the way in terms of eating disorder prevention by translating public health research and knowledge into policy change to create real-world impact. And then live on our webcam, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, we have actor and activist Jameela Jamil. Jameela stars in NBC award-winning show The Good Place. She is founder of iWay, the growing community online celebrating their worth and value beyond their appearance. She's the best friend we all want to have, and importantly for today's discussion, Jameela has catapulted some of the issues that we're going to cover today on detox teas, on Photoshop, on the responsibility of celebrities, and in doing so, I believe is really driving real-world change. I could say so much more about the two of them, but I think we really need to get to hearing from what they have to say. So welcome, Bryn and Jameela. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you, Nadia.
Great. Bryn, I want to start with you. The whole conversation was prompted by recent attention on detox teas and celebrities promoting them on Instagram. So tell me, what are detox teas and what's the big deal? Why should we care about them from a public health perspective?
And thank you, Nadia, for that excellent question to start us off. And thank you for flying across the pond to be with us here today. And thank you, Jameela, for joining us in all of your activism and on this issue of detox teas. First, I just want to say detox teas are premised on fiction. Teas do not detox. What we're worried about with these products is that we have livers, we have kidneys. They will do the detoxing for us in our bodies naturally. We don't need to use detox teas for this. However, they often contain laxatives. That's where we get worried. Laxatives like senna, typically in these kinds of teas, and that can be very dangerous to be taking laxatives day in, day out, weeks, months at a time. That's where we get particularly worried about these issues. With abusing laxatives in that way, many people just think, oh, it's tea. What's to worry about? It's safe. But in fact, when they have laxatives in them, they can create electrolyte imbalances, which can lead to all kinds of health problems, including cardiac arrest and death. When a consumer picks up a detox tea box, they think, oh, yeah, this is fine, this is safe. But in fact, nothing could be further from the truth.
Great, great. And Jameela, I know you've got an opinion about this, and I'd love to hear what you think. And I'm also curious to what prompted you to kind of put yourself out there and speak about detox teas.
I have had an eating disorder since I was 13. I don't now, but I really only stopped, a number of years ago, living in that spiral. And I was the teenager who used to buy the teas and the drinks and the diet pills recommended by the celebrities that I used to look up to. And as a result, my thyroid, my digestive system, my kidney, my liver, and my metabolism have been damaged ever since. They've never really recovered. And so I have now, because of The Good Place, this incredible platform and more eyes on me than I've ever had before. And so it just, with this rise of hyper-normalizing celebrities selling a dodgy non-FDA approved substance over the internet, and that being accepted as a cultural norm, I felt like it was my duty to share my experience to stop other teenagers from opening themselves up the way that I did. These things are really, really, really damaging, and they can also promote IBS. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that they have an impact on your peristalsis and create a lazy bowel, and that's kind of the trap you get caught in with these substances, because they make you go to the toilet. They are a diuretic or a laxative, and then your body stops being able to go to the toilet naturally, so therefore you have to buy more of this unsafe product in order to keep being able to empty your body. So it's just really, really detrimental. Really, I spent a lot of money, I spent a lot of time, and I really damaged my health because of these substances and because of really, really irresponsible, stupid, greedy celebrities.
Right, thank you. And this is personal to you as well. It's something that you feel strongly about, and I really appreciate your advocacy in this area. So, Bryn, back to you. Detox teas fall into this larger realm of dietary supplements, and I know you and your team here at Harvard have done extensive work looking at these products, with a particular focus on weight loss and muscle building supplements. So tell me, what do we know about these products? Are they effective? Are they safe? How are they regulated? And what are you and your team at Harvard Striped doing to address the risks posed by them to young people?
Yeah, those are exactly the questions we need to be asking. Detox teas are part of the larger market of dietary supplements. Dietary supplements just in the U.S. is a $40 billion industry annually. The weight loss part of the dietary supplement industry is over $2 billion a year in revenue in the U.S. for the weight loss supplements part of the market. But what few consumers know is that none of these products are pre-screened for safety or efficacy by the government before they end up on store shelves. What that means is that it's a free-for-all in terms of what kind of supplements will get on shelves. Consumers don't know this, and the system is really set up as an honor system. The government says to manufacturers, please make sure the products are safe and we'll trust you. And so then the question is, how is this honor system working? And unfortunately for consumers, it is not working very well. And we know, especially in the weight loss category of dietary supplements, the Food and Drug Administration, the U.S. federal FDA, has called out that part of the industry again and again and again for lacing their products with dangerous chemicals, with banned pharmaceuticals like fen-phen, which is pulled from the market because it already is so dangerous, with steroids, with other kinds of toxic ingredients. These are found again and again in the weight loss supplements. And this is what we have on the shelves in ordinary stores. The only time the FDA can intervene really in a substantial way, a meaningful way, is after there's a cluster of injuries, of deaths, and they can pin it on a specific product. So my question, after telling you all of that, the question really is, why do we sell these products to children? How can we know all of this and still allow this to be sold to children? I mean, picture this. Any 12-year-old can walk into their corner pharmacy, grocery store, even a health food store, and fill a suitcase with these dangerous products. Why do we allow that to happen? It's something that we really need to change. And that's why with my program, Striped, we're working with Representative Kay Kahn of Massachusetts in the state legislature here to ban the sale of these products to children. We're working with Councilor Mark Levine of the New York City Council, similarly to ban the sale of these products to children, people younger than 18 in New York. And that's why we're working with Senator Richard Blumenthal in Congress to go back to the Federal Trade Commission and say, we've got deceptive products. We need you to better police what's ending up on store shelves.
Yeah, that's really great. And I think it's so important to hear that there are lawmakers who are really taking this issue seriously. So real credit to them. Jameela, your approach on challenging this issue is really urging your peers, your fellow celebrities, to take responsibility and stop promoting these products on Instagram. Can you say more about your take on that and what you believe the responsibility of celebrities is when it comes to detox teas and these kind of products?
Well, I mean, celebrities, in a way, it's quite a dramatic thing to say, but I stand by it. But celebrities kind of replace the concept of the deity. Like, that's the new religion. People religiously follow these people and they want to dress like them. They get surgery to look like them. They want to consume everything they consume. They look up to these celebrities as role models, as the older sibling of their society, and you cannot cash in on that and not be responsible with your behavior. You absolutely cannot. It's really, really imperative that you just what's I going to say? Sorry, I got thrown off. You cannot profit off that. You cannot say, dress like me, eat like me, drink like me, but don't live as I do, because it has a profound impact on young people. And the worst part of all of this is that they underestimate young people so much by trying to insinuate that the look that they have managed to achieve with cosmetic surgery, with personal trainers, with nutritionists and personal chefs and all these different things, all of that they attribute to this dodgy powder that they're selling over the internet, that they themselves don't consume, that they never even show themselves drinking. They sometimes even Photoshop the product into their promotional picture. They are explicitly lying and saying that that's how they achieve that aesthetic, when I know for a fact I'm in Hollywood, I'm seeing all the procedures that everyone's having done. I'm seeing the way that they live and the way that they starve themselves and work out with personal trainers 8-9 hours a day sometimes,
Right.
the more extreme supermodels, etc. And so it's such a direct and offensive lie. And I'm just here to sort of whistle blow on what I know is nonsense, because young people believe what they're told. They're impressionable. I was one of those people. I'm not a stupid person. I'm an intelligent person, but I was also 13 and didn't know any better.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you said, it is a lie. And I think for me, when I've been thinking about some of these issues, sometimes I'm thinking about like, oh, what about Mr. Skinny Tea? Like, what's his responsibility? What's the responsibility of Instagram? But I think because there's so much responsibility and it's all diffused and people deflect, then nothing happens, and it kind of allows these products to continue to thrive. So I think everyone needs to take their responsibility within it, and especially if you have a huge platform. And I think when it comes to celebrities and influencers who have a huge platform, there's huge power there. So I think with power comes responsibility. So I think that's really important. So
Deep sense of misogyny, because these are almost all targeted specifically as women,
yeah,
at women.
right.
Like loads of the packaging is pink. I know that Flat Tummy Tea specifically focus on girls. The billboard they had in Times Square said, "Girls, tell them to suck." Which is also a weirdly sexualized tone for an advert like that. But it's all pictures of young, already slim women, and all of the influencers they target are women. This is definitely, I'm not saying that there's no male body shaming going on in the world, but this detox industry and diet tea industry and slimming industry is definitely zoning in on females. And so to partake in that culture and in eating disorder rhetoric as a celebrity makes me really, really depressed by my peers.
Yeah, completely. And it's just holding girls and women back so much. So I just think it's so important that we kind of like are really challenging these at different levels, from policy to social change. So I want to transition to talk about media representation, digital manipulation, kind of Photoshop and body image. Jameela, you've been very explicit in talking about how with magazines that you don't want to be edited at all, you don't want to be photoshopped. And something that you've said previously that's really struck with me is that how seeing images of yourself that's been manipulated, that's been changed, altered, like air quotes, enhanced, has affected you. And I think that really struck me. And I wonder if you could say a bit about that and why you think that, again, is another thing that we should be thinking about.
I think airbrushing is just generally quite a dangerous thing, because you are forced to then confront your own genuine reflection in a mirror after seeing a digitally enhanced image that no one can really look like. And airbrushing is different to makeup in the fact that with makeup you can obviously see that makeup is on someone's face, whereas the whole point of airbrushing is it's to make it look as though that's just really what they look like. It's incredibly toxic, and the way that Photoshop has been used on me without my permission or without me being even consulted is that people make my skin lighter, they make my ethnic features look more European, and so there's a racially offensive undertone to that, but also it's just so offensive how they slim my body and how they smooth out my cellulite and my stretch marks, and the impact that has on other women who have no idea that the image has been altered of all of us. I mean, they now airbrush even women over 50 on the cover of magazines to look like they're just an emoji. Really, they have no definition on their face whatsoever. We shoot men in high definition and we allow men to have a tummy, but with women we have to Photoshop them to look like they are ever 14. And so I have found that to be not only damaging for me personally, not only offensive to me personally, both as a human being and also as a woman of colour, but also it has been detrimental to other young people who've seen those images of people like me edited, because they then hold themselves up to that impossible standard that we ourselves are not achieving.
Yeah, completely. And I think, as also a woman of colour, I think so these issues aren't limited to weight and shape. They are about like our skin tone, our ethnic, like kind of, I think there's all of this kind of work to make you more palatable to like a white gaze. And I think that also is so damaging, and kind of how people belong and feel that they fit into the world. So I think that's really important. Bryn, I wonder if you could say a bit more about media representation and why this is relevant from a public health issue, and what Striped again are doing in this area.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as Jameela was explaining here, these images can be so damaging. We have years and years of really solid research showing when girls and young women, really people of all genders, but as she was saying, absolutely targeting girls and young women with these constant images that are unrealistic, unattainable standards of beauty around skin tone, as you pointed out, size and shape and age too, with wrinkles. This takes a toll. This takes a toll on mental health, on well-being. It increases the risk of eating disorders. It really ratchets up body dissatisfaction. And a prime culprit here is the cynical digital manipulation or photoshopping of images in advertising that companies do to make women of color look lighter, to make women look thinner, taller, younger. All of that ultimately takes its toll. Now, there are some companies that are starting to do the right thing. We have CVS, we have Aerie, and some others that are starting to pledge, we're not going to do that kind of digital manipulation. We know it's harmful. We're not going to do that. But it is not happening fast enough. We need to be encouraging industry to move faster. We got to get this out of advertising. And that's why we're working again with Representative Kay Kahn in Massachusetts with a new bill, first of its kind in the nation, to provide incentives for companies that agree to not digitally manipulate images in these harmful ways around skin tone, around size, around shape and age, wrinkles. Companies in Massachusetts, if this bill passes into law, will get a tax incentive if they do the right thing. And we think that using this carrot approach is what's going to help move industry forward faster.
Jameela was saying something I can hear.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That was really rude. But just to say that if you would like any support with that, I would love to be involved. So
great, thank you. We'd love to have you involved, Jameela.
Into proper legislation, because it's something that I feel very, very, very passionate about. And so again, something that really hurt me as a teenager, and especially because of its contribution not only to fat phobia but also to erasure and colorism.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that's really brilliant. I think, there's so many things I want to ask, but Jameela, in kind of interest of time, I want to speak about I Weigh. So I know you kind of set this up in response to a post by the Kardashians, but I wonder if you could reflect on how the movement's grown, what it means to you, and what do you see next? You've got this incredible community of people celebrating themselves and their value, and I just wonder if you could reflect on that.
Well, I Weigh is just a rebellion against the fact that we still, even to this very day, manage to value women only by how little space we take up in the world. Not just women, but people. But again, it is just predominantly targeted at women, the way that we shame people around aging and size. And it has grown into, we almost have 750,000 followers now on Instagram. This is not with the social media team. This is me and my friend Megan together, just organically putting out whatever we have coming in from our community. It's properly a community. It's definitely a team-based effort. Whenever I manage to make a lot of noise about something like the diet teas, or when I managed to get A1 to end a partnership with a very toxic company that I didn't think that their advertising was very responsible, and all my noise around Photoshop, all of that has managed to make the news because of the noise created by that entire community of people. So we are continuing to grow that community because it is very, very powerful having so many people behind you screaming with you, and we're going to turn it into a website and a safe space for activism and curated content for people who would like to learn about other ethnicities or marginalized groups. And it will also be a lifestyle website that makes you smarter and happier, not thinner and younger. Those are the things that it encourages you to do, and we want to practice radical inclusion and absolutely no digital enhancement, and just prove that you can succeed without manipulating and shaming people. I don't see a problem with selling products that people need, but I think if you have to explicitly shame someone into consuming a product, then you are selling a dirty product, and you should put in a bin and die there.
Yeah, great. And I really like that phrase that you use, radical inclusion. I think that works really well. I really like it. So I think we have time for just like one or two audience questions that people have sent in ahead of time. So, and I think maybe I'll put one to each of you. So Bryn, and if we can just do this very succinctly, we get lots of questions from parents and how to raise children kind of free from body image concerns, eating concerns, really wanting to know how to protect their kids. So is there any advice in the research in terms of what we need to do?
Absolutely, and I'll keep this succinct. There's a lot that could be said. Do not talk about diets at home. do not disparage your body or anyone else's body in front of your kids, really anywhere. Don't do that. Instead, model for your kids that embracing of your body and all it does for you. That's what's going to help your kids develop confidence in their own bodies. Now, with the media environment, we know there's so much out there. We've talked about so much that needs to change. Get involved in cleaning up our media environment, just like we're doing with the bill in Massachusetts. Also, the Boston Children's Hospital Center for Media and Child Health has wonderful tips for parents. Go there, check it out. Tips for how to talk to your kids about media, how to engage with them, understand what their experience is, how they feel about it, and help them develop media literacy skills. We really need media literacy training in schools as mandated curriculum across the country, and parents can be doing that at home. Check out Center for Media and Child Health, Boston Children's Hospital for parents. It's really spot on.
Okay, brilliant. And then there's another audience question that I think is for you, Jameela. So you've been really active in this space, maybe particularly over the past year. And I wonder what your biggest learning or takeaway has been in kind of engaging in this work.
Sorry, I lost you. What was the question?
Sorry. Okay, I will say that again. So you've been really active in this space over the last year in particular. What's been your biggest learning or takeaway in terms of being like an activist, an advocate in this space?
I think I'm amazed by the greed and fear of my peers and how much they privately tell me how much they support and admire their work, but very few of them actually speak out alongside me, and they continue to focus on their photographs and have surgery without declaring it and sell products that are and rhetoric are toxic. So I think that was one thing that made me incredibly depressed about this industry, and I hope that changes, and I hope that the fact that my career has gone kind of from strength to strength in the last year, it's proof that you can be outspoken, you can do the right thing, you can turn down the toxic deals, and you can be on the right side of history and still be successful and celebrated. I hope that I can in some way encourage people to not be so afraid of speaking out, because I think that is a large part of it, is that women don't want to be seen as problematic or difficult or hypocritical, and they themselves are afraid of letting go of their own habit of selling a lie to their followers. The other thing I've learned is that I'm going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. A lot of us are problematic and ignorant sometimes, or we have a problematic and ignorant past, and we have to be willing to just keep moving in the direction of progress. And I've kind of put down my pride when it comes to activism, because when I make mistakes, which sometimes I do, I make them on a very, very public platform, and I have a lot of feedback from that. And I've just learned to see that as something I should be grateful for and something I should learn from. And so I think that's something that we all have to be willing to do. We are in a culture where now people feel terrified to admit that they don't know something and to put their hand up and ask a question, or to join in activism because they themselves feel like they have a skeleton in their closet that they're going to be caught out for. And we need to end that culture of shaming people who genuinely want to do better. We need to just kind of call in a little bit more than we just call out. We don't just, I'm fine with calling people out, I do it all the time, but I think our cancel culture is something that I find toxic, but I'm also against, so I don't think it's helpful.
Yeah, and I think I want to say on a personal note, I think I really value and appreciate and grateful for you to kind of go through that and learn out loud, because there's so many people kind of watching and learning by like viewing that whole experience. And I mean, it's a lot on you, but I think it's benefiting so many people out there, and I think it's benefiting the research community also, because we're not immune to getting things wrong and making mistakes, and I think that's really important. So I think what I would like to see is like activists and researchers working together more, because I think then we can learn together. I think we all have the same goal, right? So then how can we then like work together and create real change? Because I think that's everyone's end goal. So I think that's really important, and I'm grateful for you and your advocacy in that space. So last thing, I would really love a call to action from both of you for our audience, for our viewers at home. What's like something that they can do in the immediate right now?
All right. Well, picking up on where Jameela was saying about even if you're afraid, still step up, say something. The weight loss dietary supplements, detox teas, we do not have to sell these to children. If we step up, you can. If you're in New York City, you can work with Councilor Levine. If you're in Massachusetts, you can work with Representative Khan. You can get in touch with Striped or do it in your own community. Let's get these products out of stores, not sold to children. That would make a big step forward in advocacy. And then there's so much more we can do.
Yeah,
but we got to start somewhere. we got to get these products out. We don't sell cigarettes to children. Why sell them diet pills?
Yeah, yeah, completely. And Jameela, what's your call to our audience, to our viewers? How can they help?
It's imperative that we remember, because I do believe that as a culture we've forgotten that we control the market doesn't control us. You can make a company literally bankrupt by withdrawing your support financially, and also just even in the form of likes and follows. Unfollow toxic celebrities, unfollow toxic magazines, products, anything that you find is promoting this eating disorder rhetoric, or a rhetoric that is damaging people around the way that they look and selling them dangerous products. Unfollow them. Do not spend your money on these companies, because these companies are literally killing people. We are at the highest rate of teenage eating disorders in history, the highest rate of teenage cosmetic surgery requests, teenage suicide, and teenage self-harm. And so we have statistics that prove that we are in a mess, and we all have the power to control the market. The market will follow us. If they sense that we are looking for more mental health, what's the word I'm trying to say? If we're looking for people to be more careful around our mental health, then I think that they will follow suit. Like you've seen, even because of the uprising of Me Too and body positivity and all these things, that is creeping into advertising. They do listen to us. We've just been taught that we are to follow whatever it is that they tell us to, and so we can fight back. And you can really fight back with your money.
Brilliant. That's a great message. So we are out of time. So this has been the most incredible, informative conversation. Thank you so much, Jameela Jamil and Professor Bryn Austin, for sharing your thoughts today, and for all the incredible work that you both do to dismantle this toxic culture that affects us all and kind of conditions us all to hate our bodies. It doesn't have to be this way. We can create change. To our viewers at home, I guess you're at home, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will have a full link to the video on screen in the links, and then we'll also put a bunch of links so you can find out more about some of the things that we mentioned here today. Okay, I've been Nadia Craddock. Thank you so much.
Thank you.